Welcome back, True Seeker. Life is so interesting. As I shared on my news channel, I got cyber hacked today and it is bad. It's bad. I don't really want to talk about it. It's part of the reason I can't sleep. I'm so mad about what happened. But to focus on the positive, probably one of the greatest days of all time in sports decoding and calling games. Uh, Arguably all the way perfect in the MLB, WNBA, and the NFL preseason. And I had a feeling the Falcons were going to lose with 13 points today, 13 days after Deion Sanders' birthday, who played for the Cowboys and the Falcons. Of course, the Cowboys blew out the Falcons in the preseason. You know, Neon Deion, he played for both teams. And I've been telling you guys for years, they rigged the preseason games. I was talking about in today's earlier stream on the news, the ritual they did last night with Tomlin getting his 42nd career win versus the Panthers. And then the Giants blowing out the Patriots with 42 points like it was Super Bowl 42. All we needed was Eli helmet catch. But, yeah, I couldn't sleep, and I picked up my phone, and somebody sent a message that they had a life-changing day today. I thought, really? Let me go back. I didn't even have a chance to see how the sports results were, all the shit I've been dealing with today. But then I went and looked, I was like, wow, Jesus, today was the day to hit those 20-teamers. Again, you guys, if you're not on the Patreon, I charge hardly any knowledge or hardly anything for this information. And granted, it's days like today don't happen every day. But if you're smart with this knowledge, you can win most days, no doubt about it. But I got to show you the magnificent day we had in the world of sports, which completely contrasts with the very god awful day I had of having my bank account hacked and all the way drained to a negative balance. It's like, how's that even happen? I spent all the money in there and I got a negative balance. And I got all these credit card charges. Ugh. Anyway. Let me just show you how today was. Well, we'll start with the MLB and we'll work our way up to the NFL. And again, what we do is we go through the games each day and we score the narratives. We get both sides of the equation, but I always rank what I think is the top narrative. And I put the top narrative on the top quite logically. So the first game on the slate was the Pirates and the Cubs. And my notes for up here were leaning more Pirates for the series and for today's game. And Pirates, they smoked the Rockies 9-0. Okay. Now, you might say, so what? The Rockies sucks. By the way, we just went perfect in the Rockies-Dodgers series. We got all 4 games right. We had the Rockies to win game 1, Dodgers to come back and win game 2, Rockies to win game 3, Dodgers to win game 4. Nice sweep in a 4-game series. And the Rockies were monster payouts both games they won. Got to know your numbers. But, the next game, Nationals and Phillies, I bet a lot of people didn't have the Nationals today. But what have I taught you guys about Philadelphia? Haven't I taught you guys it's the 65 city? Like last year, the Chiefs lost to the Eagles in their 65th season. Andy Reid loses to his old team. Again, if you're new here, in case you stumbled on this video somehow and you've never been here before, gematria, it's the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. It's based on the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards numerology. Last year was the Chiefs' 65th season. Andy Reid got his 61st total loss with the Chiefs, losing to his old team, Philadelphia, in the Super Bowl. And, of course, Chiefs got their 22nd postseason loss, and they lost with 22 points. And go look at the Eagles' box scores in the playoffs. 3 of the 4 games, 22 was in the final score, which that 22-61 was the reason I was telling my whole community, because we had the Chiefs to 3-peat before the season began, but I had my whole community for 2 weeks. I told them you got to hedge with the Chiefs based on that 22-61. Anyway, the point is Philadelphia, we call it the 65 city because not only does it equal 65, its establishment date is October 27th, the day leaving 65 days left in the year. You might recall before Mahomes and Jalen Hurts met in Super Bowl 57, Philadelphia solved the boy in the box murder from 65 years earlier. You might recall that story. But anyway, the 65 was the big clue here because the Phillies fell to 6-5 versus the Nationals for the year. And I also mentioned how, the Phillies might hold off their 75th win until August 23rd because that's Kobe's birthday, who's from Philly, right? So if the Phillies do win, it's now August 23rd. Phillies win later today. Just remember, they did it on Kobe's birthday. Last year, you saw the Dodgers win their 8th World Series in their 24th attempt, like Kobe wore 8 and 24. But yeah, that was a nice little upset there. Nationals had some nice value. And the Red Sox and the Yankees. The Red Sox had a few more meaningful stats than the Yankees. And Red Sox beat the Yankees 1-0 today. And then the Astros and the Orioles. First of all, did you see that Charlie Morton the other day, who used to play for the Astros when they won the World Series, did you see with the Tigers that he beat his old team, the Astros? Just for the record, in that game, he got his 147th career win. Houston Astros was 147, like World Series. And I'm just telling you this because when veteran pitchers face their old teams, these guys that have a ton of wins, like a Charlie Morton who has 147, something that most Major League Baseball players will never achieve, it happens all the time where they nail that exact number that corresponds with the old franchise. There's been some other examples earlier this year, but anyway. Astros, Orioles, narrative looked pretty dang good there for the Astros again, just like it did yesterday. And they're up 2-0 in the series. The Tigers and the Royals, that game today, one of the more lopsided narratives. Tigers had a lot of the again, if you're paying attention to the screen, I'm just showing you this is the kind of stuff we look at day after day. And realize I put in all this work every day. This isn't just something you can do in the snap of fingers. I mean, it's time consuming. But you put in the work, you usually reap the results. So, yeah, Tigers look good to go today. Tigers beat the Royals. Blue Jays at the Marlins. Blue Jays, pretty heavy favorite, but also with a pretty damn good narrative to win. Their pitcher could become 63-32 Friday, 63, Marlins 32. Remember last year how they opened up the NFL season in Sao Paulo, Brazil? The score was 34-29, 63 points on a Friday. I remember it very well because I had the Packers to lose with 29, which is exactly what they did, but I thought the Eagles were going to win with 33. Instead, they won with 34. Hair off on the exact score. Shout out to Hot Hand Dave. He hit the exact score for the season opener last year on Thursday. I remember his calling about that. I said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hot Hand Dave, I think you might be right. Sure enough, he was. And again, that's the thing. You're part of the Patreon community. There's a lot of great callers too, like Open Up, who's out in the chat. Great routine caller. Hot Hand Dave, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, Blue Jays got it done today. Mets and the Braves. Top narrative, Mets. Got to stay in at least 15 losses in the division for a game in Atlanta, the 15 city. Of course, I was talking about Atlanta, the 15 city, before this game was played earlier today in my live stream about the dead rock and roll star from Atlanta, the Mastodon guitarist. Dead at 51, the reflection of 15 in a motorcycle accident, where motorcycle's 51. But again, top clues going the Mets way. Mets roll, and you got to love. I love when the teams win with these perfect numbers. Mets love that 12 number. Mets put up 12. The Rays and the Cardinals game. Rays at home win at 10-6. The main clues there were going for the Rays. Both pitchers made a lot of sense if the Rays won, and they did get the decisions too. The Cardinals pitcher got his 74th loss. The Rays pitcher became 7-4, and 74 matters to both teams because St. Louis is 74, Tampa Bay Rays is 74. One guy gets the 74th loss in the battle of the two 74 teams. The other one becomes 7-4. The Twins and the White Sox, Twins by no surprise win here, but they had pretty good value today, the Twins. The White Sox have been playing decent baseball lately. Twins had the thicker narrative. So Twins became, remember how Minnesota hosted Super Bowl 52? Minnesota equals 52. Today, the Twins became 5-2 versus the White Sox for the year. They've been doing a lot of rituals with the Chicago team and the Pope as well. Of course, Pope's 52. He's from Chicago. Went to Villanova. Yeah, yesterday, you guys missed the Villanova shooting. That was 105 days after he became the Pope and 24 days for his upcoming birthday, and they said it was a hoax. The Villanova shooting hoax was 105 days after he became Pope 24 days before his birthday. Again, he went to school there. And don't forget who told you before we even got that Pope that it was going to have something to do with Philadelphia, because the next Pope was the 267th, the Philadelphia area code. Remember the other year, the 49ers NFC Championship playing at Philly where they lost because all the quarterbacks got hurt? 49ers stayed on 267 road wins as a franchise in that game. These numbers come up a lot in sports, really. Talking football just because the football season on the horizon. This Guardians-Rangers game, it was a close one, but like I told you, I said I got to give the Rangers the edge tonight because the Guardians pitcher can get the 15th loss. And Rangers edged out the Guardians. And that 15th loss mattered because Texas likes 15. Texas likes 15. So how many games is that so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're 10 in. So far, we're 10-0. Brewers and the Giants. Brewers going for that 81st win. Mr. Baseball. Milwaukee guy died right before the season kicked off. Synced up with the Brewers' first game. As I recall, he died 37 days before their opener. Poor Mr. Baseball. Milwaukee's 37. But Friday's named after Venus, right? And Venus has this 81 connection. So pretty symbolic. 81st win. First team to 81 wins on a Friday. Brewers pitcher, did he get the decision? They don't always get the decisions, but oftentimes if they have a good narrative to beat the other team, it's a good indicator for their team. He didn't get the decision, but Brewers did win, getting the 81st win on a Friday. And now the Cubs and the Angels. Now, what I do tell my people is these dogs, it's smart to take the runs. And if you don't know what that means, it means the underdog, if you take them with the runs, they can lose by 1. And you can tease them up too. You can say, oh, I think this team's. Sometimes we're able to call the exact spread of the games. That's easiest to do in the last game of a series. Well, we'll hit a lot of exact run differentials, looking at these teams' differentials for the year and how the numbers can line up. But anyway, I always encourage these dogs. I say, man, it's a good idea to take the dogs with the narratives, especially if you're putting a lot of things in a round robin or a parlay. And Angels look like they had a real shot to get it done tonight. They lost by 1. And you got to love the 3-2 loss because Angels is 32, right? 3-2. You'll see this stuff all the time when you pay attention. So if you took the Angels with the runs tonight, you would have won. If not, if you would have took a money line, you would have lost. They look like they had a narrative to upset, but with the runs, lot sure bet. The Diamondbacks and the Reds. Diamondbacks had the better narrative tonight. Had the Friday numbers. They had the 63 and the 99 both going in their favor. And these Friday numbers, they won't play every Friday, but some Fridays they are red hot, and they were pretty good. They were pretty damn good tonight. But, yeah, the 63 and 99 both played, and D-backs stayed on 66 losses for at least a game. That 66 is a hot number with Cincinnati. And notice how they came into the series, 62 and 66. We thought they would. Reds equals 62. Cincinnati equals 66, so their record comes in matching with the opponent. Tonight was game 1 of that series. But, yeah, Diamondbacks, nice hitter. And then the Dodgers and the Padres. I flipped this one around in the stream. I did. I flipped this one around in the stream. And that was a mistake. Padres were the dog too. I should have stuck with that. So okay, that one actually should have stuck with the original narrative. I was dancing around with this one in a big way. You can see there's a lot of narrative on both sides, and also this is what I also teach people: not to play every game, but to play the very best games with the most lopsided and make the most sense. But yeah, that was one I did flip around in stream. And I'll tell you what made me flip it around. I started thinking about it more, and I was like, the Dodgers paid tribute to Kobe in a major way last year. If they win today and they win tomorrow, they'll get their 75th win like Kobe. So they're not going to do that with the Dodgers. And then the A's and the Mariners, last game on the slate. I was dancing around with this one too, but I decided A's with the runs was probably the right call here. And A's did cover. They lost by 1. So, that's 15 games. And essentially on the right side of 14 of the 15 games, right? So that was the MLB today. And the WNBA, We had the Lynx to get upset last night to hold off this 29th win over the Fever. Lynx got upset last night. Actually, we even had the 15.5-point underdog last night. Last night, we had a clean sweep in the WNBA, including a 15.5-point underdog. That was in the Liberty game. But anyway, we thought last night the Lynx could get upset to hold off the 29th win over the Fever. And sure enough, tonight, Lynx get the 29th win over the Fever. The Storm and the Wings. This is no surprise. Storm were a 7.5-point favorites, but they like 22. Storm equals 22. And Friday likes Venus. And remember, Venus is associated with the feminine. See how Venus is 18 as well? Venus, the planet, is associated with women, feminine. We're talking about ladies basketball. The Storm became 18-18. And then the Valkyries and the Mercury. Mercury going for the 22nd win on the 22nd. I don't normally count things like that, but 22 special because basketball equals 22. In the same way, Storm equals 22, basketball equals 22. And the date numerology today was 3. And a lot of the notes, if you're reading them, it was about the date numerology. The 12th home win the Mercury got, 12 in numerology terms is 3. So the Mercury got their 12th home win on a 3-date numerology. Valkyries fall to 18-18. See how the double 18 things happen? But and you got to love that the Mercury won with 81, right? Just like we were just talking about Venus, 81-18. So, the Storm came in 18-18. They stayed on 18 losses, but yeah, nice clean sweep. Back-to-back nights, clean sweeps in the WNBA. Last night was more exciting, though, because we had the 15.5-point underdog. And then in the NFL today, the Deion Sanders thing just made me laugh. It makes me laugh big time. So last night, again, Tomlin got his 42nd win versus the Panthers, and 42 is this number that's stamped really hard on Black history. And they've always synced the Panthers franchise up with Huey P. Newton. Today's Huey P. Newton's death anniversary. Or excuse me. Today is, well, actually now it's the next day. Now it's the 23rd. Friday was Huey P. Newton's death anniversary, the founder of the Black Panthers. This game was on the eve before his death anniversary. He died at 47. Last year, Kamala spoke on Huey P. Newton's death anniversary at the DNC convention in Chicago, where Fred Hampton, the Black Panther, was assassinated by the feds. Again, Huey died at 47. She was running for 47. Anyway, Steelers, Tomlin's 42nd win. Remember words like Jackie equal 42, names like Martin, Malcolm X, names like Huxtable, Cosby Show, et cetera, Tuskegee, The Experiment, slavery, of course, a lot of things. Black History Month, February. So many things Black history related have the 42 connection. So Tomlin, the longest tenured Black coach in the NFL, gets his 42nd win over the Black Panthers. And again, on the same night, Giants in the rematch of Super Bowl 42 win with 42 points. I didn't catch what there might have been a theme to last Thursday's game. There weren't any games last Thursday. That's why. But in week one was the best. Do you see the theme with Thursday night on the first Thursday night preseason game? Do you notice that all the home teams are bird teams? Ravens, Eagles, Seahawks. They were all big underdogs too. And if you bet on all three, you would have had a push with the Seahawks. You would have got your money back. And I love that score, 23-23, as Pete Carroll faces his old team. Las Vegas is 23, right? But the Ravens and Eagles were big underdogs, and they both won. And had you taken them all with the points, you would have won on all 3 points because the Seahawks would have covered the spread since they were the dog. But yeah, again, just themed. And that's what we've educated about here. NFL week 1 will have a theme to it. Week 2 will have a theme to it. Week 3 will have a theme to it. When you can recognize what the theme is and what the pattern is, it's where you can absolutely slaughter. And last year, I forget when we cooled off. I know we were like red hot through week 4. I think we had a good week 5 too. things started to cool off a little bit. I mean, we had some more good weeks, but a lot of people had life-changing weeks at the start of last NFL season because we were just torching the NFL, just like how we torched the NFL on this Thursday night because we were on the Bird teams, even though they were all pretty good dogs. And anyway, it's just like tonight. Tonight, I was really feeling the 13 Deion Sanders thing. 13 days after his birthday, his two teams playing each other. I said in my notes, is somebody losing with 13? And we favored the Cowboys to win, which meant are the Falcons losing with 13? And sure enough, 13 days after Deion Sanders' birthday, you guys, is August 9th. That's the day leaving 144 days left in the year, like his son fell to the 144th pick of the draft. And remember, his son was drafted 78 days after his birthday. And this is going to be the Browns' 78th season, where Cleveland's 78. And they were doing a lot of stuff with Cleveland in 78 at that time while Trump was still 78 years old. Trump, who had his convention in Cleveland back in 2016. Grover Cleveland, the only split-term president until Trump. But anyway, it is Cleveland's 78th year this year. The Eagle. I take it back. I was leaning more towards. Sirianni falling to 4-9, but I did know they could win on the 22nd. So actually, I was on the wrong side of that NFL game tonight. He didn't fall to 4-9. The Eagles won on the 22nd, which doesn't shock me. But this was the moneymaker right here. The Falcons' exact score of 13. Cowboys rolling. Right here. It's 13 days after Deion Sanders' birthday. He played for both teams. Does someone finish with 13 points tonight? Dallas 13. Falcons coach can get his 13th loss in the These are preseason records for the record, you guys. They have them at Walter Football, the website. So yeah, I mean, remember Tom Brady? His last postseason loss was his 13th, getting eliminated by Dallas. Dallas got that 13 connection. So. Dallas is also 41, which is the 13th prime number. So in a way, it kind of has a double 13 connection. Dallas likes itself to 13. Yeah, it's just comedy. Oh, and then the Titans game. Thought the top clue was the Titans coach becoming 5-1, playing in Nashville. Nashville's got that 51 connection. Nashville 51. And oh yeah, the Bears and the Chiefs. Andy Reid staying on 46 wins versus Chicago. What else? I mean, why wouldn't that happen? We're talking about the team that won their only Super Bowl with 46 points with the revolutionary 4-6 defense. Chicago 46. Look how even Chicago Cubs is 46. That city's so 46 is ridiculous. But yeah, we were on the verge of 100%. That's a lot of games, you know. That's 20-some games tonight. And the only one that was it wasn't even all the way wrong if you were in the stream, because I said, you know, the Eagles could win on the 22nd, but that 4-9 is there. Shout out to Hot Hand Dave. Hot Hand Dave had it right. Hot Hand Dave said, I'm parlaying the Eagles and the Chiefs. Or not the Eagles and the Chiefs. He said the Eagles to win and the Chiefs to lose. Yeah, Hot Hand Dave liked those two games. To me, though, this was the best one. This was the best one. The 13th loss, 13 days after Deion Sanders' birthday. So, yeah, anyway, I did have I'd say my worst days of my life were the day my house got burglarized, because that was a just incredibly unprecedented loss. The car crashing through my house on Christmas Eve was a major, major problem. That was up there. And today, all of these days are easily in my top 5 worst days ever. The house getting burglarized was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And until like important people in my life die, there'll never be a worse day than that. But today was a nightmare for me personally because of the hacking and major financial problems. And I'll see what this. I'm hoping there'll be. I'm hoping I will not be reliable for all these fraudulent charges and that I can get the money back in my bank account, but I have to go meet with the bank tomorrow. And I'm debating on not doing my stream tomorrow. I'm going to do the notes right now because I can't sleep at all. I tried to lay down and go to bed, and my head was raging with anger. So I'm going to stay up and do the work for tomorrow. The bank out here is only open till noon tomorrow, and it's 30 some miles from me. That's the problem with living in a small town. And I kind of want to get there early and make sure everything gets as resolved as much as possible. So I don't know. I'm debating on skipping the stream, but there is a lot to go over. So, by the way, you guys, nobody send me anything on my Zelle account. Hardly anyone ever does that, but the hackers right now are in control of my Zelle. So if you Zelled me any money, hopefully nobody Zelled me any money tonight because that went straight to hackers. I can't do anything about that for the time being. I have to go. I'm going to talk to the bank tomorrow about how to resolve that issue. So yeah, leave my Zelle alone. The hackers rerouted pretty much everything. So yeah, I got a major headache to deal with. But hey, shout out to Cody Killa. He says, thanks for doing real work, which most people don't do. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So yeah, I normally don't miss a day of streams, but I don't know. I might miss it tomorrow for having to deal with some pretty massive matters right now. So but yeah, please do not send any money to my Zelle because it has been rerouted to some scammers bank. And I wonder, how do they do it? How do scammers set up accounts and stuff? I noticed that they set up a million different Apple Pay accounts with my credit cards. So there must something the scammers like about Apple Pay too. I'm like, obviously the scammers know how to work the whole system and not get caught, but Apple Pay I see as a weapon of theirs. And it makes me think that, like, where's the federal government? Because all the people getting scammed must, like, isn't the scammers are using Apple Pay, so there must be some kind of way that it protects them. Makes me think that maybe things like Apple Pay don't need to exist. But anyway, yeah, I'll post the notes tonight because I'm working on them, and then I don't know. I might do the stream tomorrow. I just might not because I do need to go to the bank. So, all right. Somebody says super easy to hide. It must be. I've never scammed people or gotten into that, so I don't know how all that works. But well, I do wonder. I do wonder about the because again, if you didn't see my video on how I got scammed, I got called from an official Verizon store. I'll just tell it real quick, just again what happened. So yesterday or on the 21st at night, I was getting all these alerts through my Verizon app. I have Verizon that somebody was trying to buy all these iPhones in Florida, but the Verizon system was recognizing it as fraud and just letting me know that this was going on. And I thought about calling, but I was like, well, they're letting me know that it's being tried, but it's being stopped. So I said, well, I guess they got it under control. They can't scam it. So this afternoon, and yeah, I was feeding Sweet Girl, and the phone's ringing, and I see that it says Verizon official. So I thought, oh, I bet they're calling about whatever those alerts were last night. And I pick up, and sure enough, that's what they're calling about. And they were, he wanted to check to make sure that I was not trying to actually purchase the several iPhone 16s down in Miami. And I was like, nope, I haven't been to Miami in over 20 years. And then again, I'll just throw this out there for anyone who has Verizon. Look out for this. So here, I got the phone number that he called from because I don't know. Maybe they use this store. Maybe for some reason they can use this store. Hold on. This is the number for the store that the phone call came from. And on my thing, it just shows up as Verizon officials. And that's what it does whenever they actually call me. So this is the store that I was getting called from, an actual location in Elko, Nevada. And they're doing an internal investigation to see if the call actually came out of that store or if, like, the scammers can make the call look like it came. I don't even understand how they do all this stuff. But not only did it come through the Verizon official, but then I have the thing where I get the official messages from Verizon So he said, I'm going to send you an authorization code, and I just want you to say it back to me because we're going to wipe out this fraudulent order all the way. And the number came through, and I said the number back to him. He said, okay, perfect. And he goes, okay, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to send you one more number. And it came through, and I read it back to him. And shortly after that, my phone just went dead and said SOS. And I didn't catch it in real time because what I should have done was read the words carefully with the number. The words said that, like, no, make sure nobody ever asks for this number. Verizon will never ask for this number. But because it was the Verizon official number and it was inside the thread that all the official Verizon stuff comes through on my phone, it wasn't like a new chain. It was the one that, like, all my monthly bills and payments and changes to this, and you subscribe to this, you unsubscribe from this, all of that, and I just keep that there. It's like it's a chain that runs for years. I mean, I've had this phone. This is a iPhone 13, so all the chain going back to when iPhone 13 came out. So years. iPhone 13 came out the year of the 117th World Series. But anyway, what he did with those messages was he signed my phone number up with Vision Wireless, which is owned by Verizon. And once he switched my phone number over to Vision, I no longer had a phone number. And then by having whatever information he had, because he might very well be a Verizon employee. So they obviously have some of my information. They have like address, you know, phone number, last four digits of social, just all the stuff that they'd ask you over the phone. So they already have a database of information. But then once he had my phone number, he was able to, and it wasn't just one person because I could tell because I was getting like, is this fraud out of Texas? Is this fraud out of Maine? Is this fraud out of Florida? Most of it was Florida and different places in Florida, but it was other places in the country too. I just started getting overwhelmed with like every single financial account I have, just getting emails. Your password's been changed for this. Your username was changed for this, blah, blah. Just like in no time, because once they got a hold of the phone number, use your phone to use your phone to change your password. Oh, you forgot your password? Here, we'll text you a verification code to your phone. They were in control of my phone, which I had to go to the Verizon store and took over 4 hours to get my phone number back. But yeah, in that time, they got into pretty much all of my financial accounts and wreaked havoc, including draining the bank account and giving me a negative balance of 400 and some dollars. Which I'm like, how's that even happen? Like, what the hell? They spent all that money and I got a negative balance. I don't exactly. I've never had a negative balance in my life, but yeah, you guys got to be very careful because I mean, the mistake I made again was when he called or when he asked for those numbers, but I was on the phone, right? And I'm feeding my girl, and I'm thinking, okay, he's calling about last night's thing. It all made sense to me in the moment. Like, and I'm kind of thinking, like, but you know how this is. I mean, you've dealt with customer service, and they do send you a number, and they ask you to say the number back to them to confirm it's you. And I just thought it was that kind of shit. I didn't read the fine print, and I allowed him to transfer my phone number to somebody else, which is what opened up the door for hell. So, um, yeah, just I'll put it out there one more time. You got Verizon, and I'm sure they can do this with other cell phone providers. I'm hoping Verizon said they're going to do an internal investigation and get back to me. But I mean, what are they going to reveal? Are they going to be saying, yeah, it turns out it was the crooked employee out of the Nevada store? Anyway, it's a major headache right now. But I do have to go to the bank tomorrow, and the bank's a drive, and it's only open for so long. And because that's the thing, if I do the stream tomorrow, by the time I typically finish my Saturday stream, if I drove down there, I wouldn't even get to the bank by the time it closes. So, uh, yeah, I might have to forego the stream, you guys. Apologies, but major problems. So, Yeah, the stuff you guys are saying, I'm sure it's all true, man. And again, the people who work for these companies and design all these interfaces, a lot of them they don't work there forever, and I'm sure they know the back doors, and they might go into the fraud business once they stop working for Verizon or whatever company. So that's kind of how I see it because I'm like, it does seem amazing that they can pull this stuff off, though, make it all look so perfect, but it's not. So anyway, all right, guys. I will be if you are on the Patreon, I'll be putting out the notes. If you're not on the Patreon, again, patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. Links in the description of every video. I'll make it the top pinned post. And football season's about to get underway. If we can start off like last year, you're not going to want to miss the beginning of the season. I'll tell you that much. It was a life-changing time for a lot of people, just like a lot of people had a very special day today. So we're kind of like the market. It's like you want to be there every day because some days you really splash. Some days you really splash. You don't want to miss the days where we splash. All right, thanks for doing that. Open up, yeah. I'll pin that, but that is the link to my Patreon. That's exactly where you would go to. So, uh, we'll leave it there for now. Congrats to the winners, and until next time, True Sicker.